Most people think confident communication is about being loud, assertive, or dominating the conversation. And that's why most people either come across as weak or manipulative. They either shrink and people please, or they push and manipulate. But there is a third way, a way to communicate with genuine confidence that naturally draws people to you without any tricks or manipulation. And once you learn this, everything changes. People listen to you, they trust you, they want to work with you. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you the 3 principles that will let you communicate with real confidence and win people over authentically. For years, I was terrible at communicating. In conversations, I'd either talk too much trying to prove myself, or I'd say nothing because I was afraid of being judged. In meetings, I'd shrink and let others dominate. In disagreements, I'd either cave to avoid conflict or get defensive and push back. And I felt powerless, like I didn't have a voice, like I couldn't influence anyone. And I thought, some people are just naturally good communicators, and I'm not one of them. Then I learned something that changed everything. Confident communication isn't about techniques. It's not about what you say, it's about who you are when you're saying it. It's about being grounded in yourself, being clear on your truth, and expressing that truth without needing everyone to agree with you. When you have that internal foundation, the words don't matter as much, because people feel your energy, they sense your authenticity, and they trust you. Here's what we're covering. First, why most communication advice doesn't work and actually makes you less authentic. Second, the difference between confident communication and manipulative communication, and why one builds trust while the other destroys it. And third, the 3 principles that let you communicate with real confidence so people naturally want to listen to you and work with you. Let's start with why most communication advice fails. You've probably heard things like make eye contact, use powerful body language, mirror the other person, speak with authority, and those things can help, but they're surface level, they're techniques, and techniques without authenticity feel fake. People can sense when you're performing. When you're trying to project confidence, you don't actually feel, and it creates distrust. Here's what's actually happening. When you're using techniques to appear confident, you're manipulating. You're trying to control how people perceive you, and manipulation always backfires. Because people have incredible radar for inauthenticity, they might not be able to articulate it, but they feel it, and they pull away, or they become defensive, because on some level, they know you're not being real. Real confidence isn't about controlling perception. It's about being so secure in yourself that you don't need to control anything. You say what you mean what you say, and you're okay if people disagree, because your worth isn't dependent on their approval. And that's what people feel, that groundedness, that self-assurance, and they're drawn to it. Think about the people you trust most, the ones who influence you. They're not the ones using tricks. They're the ones who are genuinely themselves, who speak their truth, who don't need you to agree with them. They're confident, but it's not performed, it's real. And that's what creates connection. That's what wins people over, not techniques, authenticity. Now, the biggest mistake people make is confusing confident communication with manipulative communication. And the difference is subtle, but it's everything. Manipulative communication is about getting what you want from someone. It's transactional. You say things to influence their behavior, to get them to agree, to make them like you. It's about control. Confident communication is about expressing your truth and inviting connection. It's relational. You say things because they're true for you. Not to get a specific reaction, you're sharing yourself. Not trying to change someone else. And the beautiful thing is, when you're not trying to control the outcome, people relax. They trust you. They open up. Because they sense you're not trying to manipulate them, you're just being real. Here's how to tell the difference. Ask yourself, am I saying this because it's true, or because I want them to respond a certain way? If you're trying to get a specific response, that's manipulation. If you're simply expressing your truth, that's confidence. And people feel the difference, always. I used to manipulate constantly without realizing it. I'd say things to make people like me. I'd agree when I actually disagreed. I'd hide my opinions to avoid conflict. And I thought I was being nice. But I was being dishonest, and people didn't trust me because they could sense I wasn't being real. When I started speaking my truth, even when it was uncomfortable, everything shifted. People started respecting me, trusting me, because I'd stopped manipulating and started being authentic. Now, here's how you actually communicate with confidence so people naturally want to listen to you, trust you, and work with you. Principle number 1: speak from your truth, not from your need for approval. This is the foundation of confident communication. Before you speak, you ask yourself, is this true for me? Not, will they agree with this? Not, will this make me look good? Just, is this true for me? And if it is, you say it. Simply, clearly, without apologizing. Most people filter everything they say through. Will they like this? Will this offend them? Will this make me look stupid? And they end up saying nothing real. They say what they think people want to hear, or they say nothing at all, and they wonder why no one takes them seriously. It's because they're not being real, they're performing. Here's what you do instead. You connect with your truth first. What do I actually think about this? What do I actually feel? What's true for me right now? And then you express that. Not aggressively, not defensively, just clearly. I think this, I feel that, I see it this way. You're not making it the only truth, you're just owning it as your truth, and that's confidence. When I started doing this, it was terrifying. I was so used to people pleasing, to saying what I thought people wanted to hear. But I started practicing, small things at first. Someone asks my opinion, I give my real opinion, not a watered down version, not what I think they want to hear, my actual truth. And people started respecting me more, not because I was right, but because I was real. Principle number 2, listen to understand, not to respond. Most people don't listen, they wait for their turn to talk. While the other person is speaking, they're formulating their response, thinking about what they're going to say next, and they miss the entire conversation. They're not connecting, they're just waiting. Here's what confident people do. They listen deeply. They're fully present with what the other person is saying. They're not thinking about their response. They're trying to genuinely understand, what is this person actually saying? What do they mean? What are they feeling? And that deep listening creates connection because the other person feels seen, heard, valued. And people trust people who make them feel that way. And here's the paradox. When you stop trying to respond cleverly and just focus on understanding, your responses become better, more authentic, more connected. Because you're responding to what was actually said, not to what you think they said while you were planning your next sentence. I used to interrupt people constantly, not out of rudeness, out of excitement. I'd hear something and immediately want to respond, and I'd miss the rest of what they were saying. Then I started practicing. Shut up and listen. Don't think about your response, just understand what they're saying. And my conversations got deeper, more meaningful, and people started seeking me out because I made them feel heard. Principle number 3, be okay with disagreement and discomfort. Confident people don't need everyone to agree with them. They can say their truth and let others have their truth. They don't get defensive when challenged. They don't collapse when criticized. They stay grounded in themselves, and that's what creates respect. Most people avoid disagreement. They need everyone to like them, everyone to agree, and they'll bend themselves into pretzels to avoid conflict. But that's not confidence, that's fear, and people sense it. When you're willing to disagree respectfully, when you can hold your ground without attacking, when you can be okay with someone not liking your opinion, you radiate confidence because you're not dependent on their approval. This doesn't mean being combative, it means being grounded. Someone disagrees with you? Okay, you don't need to convince them, you just need to express your truth and let them have theirs. Someone criticizes you? Okay, you consider it. Maybe it's valid, maybe it's not, but you don't crumble, you stay centered. And you get comfortable with silence, with pauses, with moments where the conversation feels awkward, because confident people don't need to fill every silence. They can sit with discomfort. They don't rush to smooth things over. They let things be what they are, and that creates depth, authenticity, trust. I used to panic at any sign of disagreement. I'd backtrack, apologize, try to make everyone happy, and I looked weak. Now when someone disagrees, I say, I hear you, I see it differently, and that's okay. We don't have to agree, and people respect that, because I'm not trying to control them, I'm just being me, and inviting them to be them. Here's what I want you to understand. Confident communication isn't about dominating conversations or using tricks. It's about being grounded in your truth, listening deeply, and being okay with disagreement. When you do that, people trust you. They want to work with you. not because you manipulated them, but because you were real. And real connection is what people are starving for. We covered why techniques don't work, they're surface level, and people sense inauthenticity. We distinguished confident from manipulative communication. One is about truth, the other about control. And we walked through the 3 principles. Speak from your truth, not your need for approval. Listen to understand, not to respond. And be okay with disagreement and discomfort. This isn't about becoming someone you're not. It's about being more of who you already are. It's about stripping away the performance and just being real. And when you do that, you don't need to win people over. They're won over naturally. Because you're not manipulating, you're connecting. So here's your practice for today. In your next conversation, practice one principle. Maybe you speak your truth without filtering. Maybe you listen deeply without planning your response. Maybe you let someone disagree without trying to convince them. Just one. And notice how different it feels to communicate from confidence instead of fear. Let me know in the comments which principle resonates most with you, and what's one way you're going to practice confident communication today. You don't need tricks, you just need to be real. Welcome to Communicating with Confidence. This is where real connection begins.